Micah 5. So, Micah talks about a siege against uh, Jerusalem or Israel, but then he says that he prophesies Jesus' birth, that the one who comes from Bethlehem will be a ruler in Israel, and this person is one that will come forth for God, for me, capitalized. And his time is from long ago, from the days of eternity. And in Genesis, we know that in the beginning was the Word, and that represents Jesus. The Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, or something like that. And then we also know that John wrote about. Okay, I lost my train of thought, but we, like modern Christians, believe that Jesus is ever the Ancient of Days, ever since with God from the very beginning. And then maybe the word was John. I'm confused now, but so basically, therefore he will give them up until, so God will give Israel up until the time when she who is in labor has given birth, and the remainder of his kinsmen, and will return to the sons of Israel. And so I guess this is talking about the birth of Jesus. So he will give up the Israelite to until the point that Jesus is born. It sounds like that. And then after that he will arise and shepherd his flock in the strength of the Lord. And then he will be great to the ends of the earth. This one will be our peace. When the Assyrian invades our land, then there will be 7 shepherds and 8 leaders of people. And I didn't understand that until I read the study Bible. It says right here that the Israel future ideal king would have effective commanders, 7 shepherds and 8 princely men, or 8 leaders of people, carrying out his will. So the numbers are used for poetic structure. In other words, under the Messiah reign, there will be no shortage of competent leadership. However, I can understand why it's hard for the Jews to recognize Jesus, because they thought, like, from reading this, it's like by the time that Jesus or the Messiah come, they will be like no longer, they will be he will shepherd them. He will then, like, he will be great to the ends of the earth. So when they read this and they don't understand that there's a gap in between, then I can understand why the Jews during Jesus' time cannot understand this mystery of God. And that's why they didn't accept Jesus as the Messiah when he first came. Because this really did talk about the Messiah, the one that comes from Bethlehem, being very, like, being a ruler. And then he will, so then he will rescue us from the Assyrian. So I wonder, when Jesus come back, what is the Assyrian that the Bible is talking about that he will rescue them from? And then so there's a remnant of Jacob who will be among many people. And then so God is going to put a remnant of Jacob, so the Israelite, they're going to spread all over the earth pretty much among the nations. And their hand will be lifted up against their adversary, and all their enemies will be eliminated. So this is like complete victory that they are reading. And then on that day, this is not yet come, that there will be no more learning of war. And then God will execute vengeance and anger and wrath on the nations which have not obeyed. So, let's see. So, from the Study Bible, it said Micah's prophecy encompasses both the first and second coming of Jesus. We know that starting with the victory and everything, that is second coming. But the first coming is talking about when he was born in Bethlehem, and he will someday establish his rule over Israel to the ends of the earth in a kingdom of peace. So it's like, that's why the Old Testament is a mystery, so that no one would know the plans of God, so that they can't screw up the resurrection, which is God's ultimate goal for conquering death and resurrecting his saints, so that they will have life with him even though they die. So then the Study Bible even wrote that daughters of truth in verse 1-5 up here. It talks about Jerusalem would be besieged by invading soldiers. The Babylonian siege of Jerusalem would be both horrific and humiliating, with the marauders smiting the judge of Israel, which is King Zedekiah, with a rod on the cheek, a far greater insult than being slapped on the cheek. Nevertheless, Micah looked beyond exile and prophesies that the Lord will raise up another ruler who will secure his people, which is Jesus. And then, so this ruler will come from Bethlehem and will be a new David, will defeat Israel's enemies and protect them from would-be invaders. And he wrote that Jesus fulfilled this prophecy in Matthew 2:6 and Luke 2:4. I have to look more into that. I didn't understand that. And the rest of it, and 10-15, it says that to prepare his people for the Messiah's kingdom, God will purify the remnant of the people and remove their misplaced trust in weapons, fortified cities, divination, and idols. He will also clear his kingdom of all form of covenantal infidelity, such as sacred pillars and wooden images representing worship of the Canaanite fertility deities. So that's pretty much what I read and what I understood. And there are some things to look more into.